want to share with you today the process of using dynamic assessment to evaluate concerns related to speech skills. First, dynamic assessment is a strategy that we use to help us differentiate students who don't perform well because they're either unfamiliar with the task or they aren't sure what is expected of them, from those who don't perform well because they have intrinsic cognitive or language learning disorders or speech disorders. We do this using a test, teach, retest model. So we test, we identify areas of concern, we teach to those, and then we retest to see how a child learned. This helps us to reduce the bias that is inherent in standardized tests, and it helps us to look at learning potential. So it doesn't have expectations about what a child comes to the table with. Instead, we look at what is their process of learning, how well can they pick something up, how easily can they pick something up. And this really helps us to make good diagnostic decisions. So for speech, our dynamic assessment procedure looks like this. We administer an articulation test. We note the errors, which are also our targets for dynamic assessment. We implement the mediated learning experience. That is the teach portion of our dynamic assessment. And then we re-administer some items and look at how well they did on those. So we're determining change, and we're also determining the effort that we had to put in to get that change. Just as a reminder, the mediated learning experience for speech includes these components: intentionality, meaning, transcendence, application, and competence. This is really simple for speech. Intentionality, what are we working on? We are working on producing sounds clearly. Meaning, why is that? Why are we doing that? Because we want people to be able to understand what you say. Transcendence is making it personal, taking it a step beyond. So what would happen if someone didn't understand what you were saying to them? You might not get what you want. You might get the wrong thing. Application is we are going to work on this together and practice it. And then competence, I want you to show me what you learned and talk to me about what you learned. So that is our simple process of mediated learning for speech. In this example, I'm going to use the BAPA, the Bilingual Articulation and Phonology Assessment app. And here is a protocol form for it. We also have a dynamic assessment form for this tool on our website at bilinguistics.com in the Evaluation Resources Library. This is my use of this document, where I look at my dynamic assessment here. I used two different levels of cueing. So one was an auditory only cue, and if the child did not get the auditory only cue, I used a visual cue as well. So you can see in this case that this child needed those visual cues fairly often to be able to produce the sound correctly, but that he did make some progress with those. Let me show you what this looked like. And this was a teletherapy evaluation, so you'll see that this is online.
So I'm going to say the word, and then I want you to repeat it, and then I want you to watch me say it, and then we'll repeat it, okay? So the first word is mouth.
Mouth.
Now, watch me as I say it. Mouth.
Mouth.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You got the th sound. Okay, the next one is teeth. Your turn.
Teeth.
Okay, now teeth.
Teeth.
Okay,
Conejo.
perfect.
So we can see that Anthony made a number of errors. When he was given an auditory cue, he was able to improve some of those productions, but most of the time he needed that visual cue to successfully produce the word. So what that tells us is I would put him in the middle category here. He made moderate progress with some support. It wasn't maximal support, It wasn't minimal support. Minimal, I would say auditory only. But with that visual cue, I would say I gave him moderate support and he made good progress. He didn't get everything absolutely correct with that. So he's in that middle category where we would say this is a good candidate for intervention. So that is our process of using dynamic assessment to help us make more confident decisions about diagnoses for those exhibiting difficulties in the area of speech.